attacker approaches or gets near the target, either from you standing up, you walking by, whatever the situation might be, he of course wants to subdue. Phase 2, he wants to subdue, get control of the target. There are many ways to do that. He can grab you by the throat, he can grab you by the hair, he can grab you by the body, or one of the most common, he can grab you by the wrists. Okay, one wrist, he can grab both wrists, he can grab 2 against 1, many different options on how he grabs your wrist. We're going to cover all of the ones you've imagined, plus many you've never imagined in your entire life. Okay, we got it all. Now, why do they grab the wrist? Because they can pull you in a direction they want to take you, and because they control your hand from doing damage or hitting them, especially if they control both wrists, which we're going to see in the second slice, or third slice. Okay, but for right now, let's focus on just when they grab one hand. What would you ladies do to escape from this possible grip right here? Sage, what would they do? No, for real, what they do. Go, go, go. She would try to go crazy and rip her hand out, okay? Or some of you might try to go up to break towards the thumb, go harder. Not going to happen. I have a strong grip and my arm is going with her. Maybe bust down as hard as you can.
And use your other hand to push his wrist off.
Interesting. You know? What happens is this. If the attacker's pulling you, make a base, solid base, please, rock solid. If the attacker's pulling you and you have your base and he still has you by the wrist, some women in this case will all punch him or I'll kick him or I'll slap him. And it's reasonable except for one thing. If I'm my van is right here. So if I'm trying to take you in a direction, Sejina cannot maintain her base and punch or kick or slap me because she goes with me, look. In other words, she can't reach me unless she loses her base and then I get what I want. So striking is not the most reliable way to get out here. Although it can come in handy sometimes, we need a more leverage-based and fully reliable way to free our hand from a very determined grip.
And for someone who grabs you by your wrist, they're not afraid of your strike.
True that.
Right? Especially if they're going to hold one wrist, they know your other arm exists.
Yeah.
And you could slap or punch them.
It's not a threat to them. Okay? So we need to get out of here. 100% guaranteed. Doesn't matter how strong, big, or crazy, mean, or ugly the guy is. We've got to get our hand out of their grip and free it. Watch how Sejina does it. Magical. One more time. It's amazing. Sejina, that's so incredible. Make it base again, Sage. She has her base. Naturally, anytime someone's pulling you, we talked about that, lesson number 1. Sejina, I have her arm gripped right now. She does not try to move her hand, she does not try to break away from me. Because if she tries to move her hand that way, I can prevent it by holding strong, and my arm is stronger than her arm. Instead, she tries to position herself at an angle to the point where I cannot accommodate that angle or that movement using leverage. Watch what she does. Her elbow comes down and touches my forearm. Now freeze. At this point, I cannot hold her wrist no matter what. It's physically impossible because my arm doesn't bend that way. So she wins. So how do you create this angle? The elbow comes upside down, like an upside down rainbow right here, curving. And then once it touches, she's good to go. In doing that, her body comes closer and her shoulder and her fist come close together as well. So the elbow is scooping and the hand is approaching her shoulder at the same time.
So we're asking you to move forward towards the attacker, which is a little bit counterintuitive, but it gives you so much more leverage that we have to do it for 1 split second.
It's interesting. Like the first lesson, the combat base, where we taught you sometimes you have to give a little to get a lot. You have to shuffle a little to get a solid base. Same thing goes here. You got to lean forward a little bit to make that optimum positioning, optimum leverage to guarantee your wrist release from their grip. Sage, any other details? What are you thinking?
I think that this is more useful than anybody else knows so far.
Right.
Because Hender's explaining it like the attacker is, you know, a serial killer and he's out to get you. But you could use this, you're in the nightclub or you're with your girlfriends, you're dancing, and you walk by and a guy goes, hey, let's go dance.
Hey.
And you're like, no.
Right.
So you'll start using that all the time.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
It becomes good observation, and it becomes so natural, like where even without looking, your hand just knows their grip, and you know the optimum angle for maximum leverage and positioning, and they can't accommodate that movement, and you're free. So whether it's a life-threatening situation or some ridiculous guy in the club, you're going to break free. Thank you, Sage. Eve, join the party. There's one other detail here. When the grip is happening on the wrist right here, you'll notice that there's a wide part of the wrist and there's a narrow part of the wrist. Wider, narrower. Okay, everyone has it. Okay, where the bones are sideways, they're wider. When I'm grabbing like this is my grip. Okay, look at the grip. There's only one escape route from this grip, and that is at the opening where the thumb meets the fingers. Only through here. Not going to exit through here. Impossible. That being said, Eve is going to come out this way. Should she come out with the wide part of the wrist or the narrow part? Narrow. So watch what she does. Just prior to the elbow forward momentum and leverage, she rotates to where her thumb, which is the same alignment with the narrow part, to where her thumb is facing the opening of the grip.
Yeah, and your skin allows this to happen.
Yeah.
No matter how tight his grip is.
Yeah, it certainly has some flexion in there, some mobility. And then check it out. Good base. Always have base. Like he don't said in the last class, with the same side leg as the arm trap forward. And then, of course, elbow under and up. Check your wrist over there.
Yeah. When you stay right there, move back a little bit. Go ahead, base, base, base. Right where she is right now, she's a little bit far away to where her elbow will not be able to reach my arm. Go ahead, do the move one time.
Even if
Stay
she
right there.
leans.
Right.
So what that means is you have to move your base a little closer. Not just your body lean, but your feet also move closer to the attacker
That's such a big
to be able to get far enough underneath to get out.
Yeah, the most common mistake after the women learn this one is they still have the belief, hold my wrist please, Eve, other hand for now so you can see here, is they still have the belief that this hand is what rips away. And it worked. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu all the way. No, that didn't work right there. Eve had a soft grip because she was cooperative because we're practicing it. So I got out because I rushed it and I used a lot of energy. What's the best indication of perfection here? The fact that you can do it with no energy and still get out. So I'm going to close my fist, okay, rotate the thumb to the opening, and I don't rip this away at all, although I could get out. I relax, I have a good base, and I go towards her. The best indication of perfection is that you don't use any energy. And this is a unit right here. Do you guys see? The junction of our hands, consider this one unit. The unit does not move. Come with me. It doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't move. What moves is me underneath the unit. So you know you're doing it right if you're moving around the junction. Why does that make sense? Because anytime you move the unit, you're relying on them going with you. And if they're strong and resistant, they're not going to go. Why am I so excited about this?
Because the move is so amazing and it's so regularly messed up.
Right.
That you just want to make sure that they know how important these details are.
When you grab your partner's wrist right now, and in all the slices for this lesson, don't grab like you're angry at life. Look at my hand, just like this for now. Because what happens if we do it 35 times, you guys get all excited and trained to the middle of the night, you're gonna get all burnt up on your wrist. The bad guy only has one chance, and I guarantee you, when he grabs, if you position yourself right, you're getting out. I don't care how strong he is. There's leverage here that he can't accommodate. So the move works in one shot, one kill, it's a done deal. Now, in repetition practice, though, you don't want to burn your wrist, so let's make sure we squeeze gently and give your partner a chance to practice the move. Always in base. Try the other side just for practice purposes. So she's in her base right here. She turns her thumb to the opening, okay, and now her body comes with it under. Incredible. And as she comes under, her hand ends up close to her shoulder. There's no angle, I can't control it. And then, of course, she's gone from there.
Another reason why students rush through this is because you're preparing to defend against an attacker.
Right.
So just the idea that a man is holding my wrist and I have to get out. So that makes you want to do the technique faster. But, of course, you're training with somebody who is a friend and someone you care about and you trust, so slow it down. And believe it or not, by going really, really, really slow, you're going to actually...
Tighten your reflexes.
The reflexes will be much better. You're going to understand it more.
You're going to believe in it more. Because if the move relies on your strength, speed, and coordination, if it relies on those things, it is limited. Because if they're stronger, faster, or more coordinated, suddenly the move doesn't work. But if you can do it with completely slow motion and no energy, pow, and you still feel and believe in the leverage, guess what? The move has no limitations. And this one doesn't, as long as you give it a chance and you practice it like Hidon is recommending in super slow motion to verify that it's there for you. Okay, the only way to know is if you do it with no energy. This is 1 versus 1. It's called one-on-one grip. Okay, 2-on-1, 2-on-2, they're all coming up in the slices to come. Practice one-on-one in slow motion. Don't burn each other's wrists. And ladies, if you're wearing a watch or jewelry, get rid of it.